Hi, I'm Catherine Llewellyn, the host of the podcast. You can find out all about Truth and Transcendence on truthandtranscendence.com. And you can find out all about me on beingspace.world, where you will find my online coaching offering as well as my UK-based workshops. The Freedom of Spirit workshop for liberation and empowerment, the Pellowah Radical Shift in Consciousness workshop for spiritual expansion, and transformational coaching for exploring the mind-body-spirit connection on the expansive path. You can also support the podcast by actually making a donation. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Truth and Transcendence. You can find all our episodes on truthandtranscendence.com. So today I have some little tiny medallions. And some people listening and watching already know why I have these medallions, but I'm going to tell you in this episode. So one of the things about being human is that we believe time actually exists and that it's linear, which is absolutely fine. That's part of how our mind works. And because of that, something that is really very powerful for us is ritual at a specific time. So, for example, we celebrate the New Year, we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Hanukkah, we celebrate the solstice, and we celebrate all sorts of different things, our birthdays, our anniversaries. These things are of significance to us. And some of these things are internationally considered of value. Some of them are just local. Some of them go in and out of fashion. So, for example, when I was a child, celebrating the solstice was something no one I knew had any connection to. Whereas now, most people I know actually paid more attention to, let's say, the solstice than Christmas. And then there's a whole bunch of people I've recently come to know who celebrate a thing called Thanksgiving, which over here in the UK, we just don't understand it. We have no idea what that's about. And the people who celebrate Thanksgiving, a lot of those really don't understand how we in the UK put so much energy and emphasis on Christmas. So those are just examples. But there's a piece of time coming up in March 2025, the Spring Equinox, which some people think the equinox is very significant anyway. And I believe there have been cultures who considered the spring equinox to be the beginning of the year, because it's the beginning of a real significant resurgence in energy, in light, sunlight, life budding in the ground, animals beginning to have offspring. It's kind of a beginning of the year, whereas most people I know now consider the new year begins at the end of December. So spring equinox is already kind of an interesting time. But apparently there have been some very interesting prophecies that suggest that the spring equinox in 2025 is of supreme significance to mankind. And I received a message from one of my spiritual teachers, the wonderful Kachina Maan in Australia, and hence the medallions. So I'm going to take you through this today as an example of a piece of ritualistic, intentional dedication, and also as an example of something that we humans find so valuable, which is ritual at specific points in time. So if there's something in what I'm talking to you about today that really resonates for you, then join with me in the little project involving medallions. But if it only resonates with you to some extent, then join with me in the aspect of the project to do with kindness. And if neither of those resonate for you, then maybe consider what is meaningful for you in terms of points in time where you intentionally dedicate yourself to, whether it's light, love, truth, God, the source, the universe, whatever it may be. Because although we humans, in a way, make this stuff up for us, on another level, maybe it really is truly meaningful in a much broader way. Personally, I feel it is, but that's me. And I find these things very reinforcing for me personally. I think psychologically it's healthy to do these things. I think spiritually it is appropriate and of value. And also in connection as a tribal species, I think sometimes knowing that we're involved in something like this, where the collective is involved, can be incredibly valuable and powerful. So let me read you something that I received from Katrina. So I've slightly reworded it for the podcast. So this is a little spiritual mission across the following 2 months. And like I said, let this message flow over you and notice how it resonates. We are coming to a life-changing junction in our evolution. It will determine where this reality will go from that point on. And there have been many prophecies written about this next turning point. One is the Mayan Codex, which is different from the Mayan calendar and different from the 2012 prophecy. And in the Mayan Codex, it talks about a very specific time, and that time is 2025. It says that at that junction, humanity, by way of mass consciousness, will determine whether we ascend to new heights in spiritual awareness and consciousness, or alternatively, whether we repeat the cycle of physical distractions within our reality. And I think we all know about physical distractions within our reality. The second prophecy that talks about this is the Hopi Prophecy Stone. It too talks about a moment in time when humanity will determine the direction of the reality through mass consciousness. And the time of this turning point is the equinox in March 2025. That will be the moment. So what can we do? It might seem a bit overwhelming when you think that by that time, there needs to be an exact amount of light and dark. So the prophecies are suggesting that at that point in time, if there's a greater proportion of dark in our mass consciousness, we will repeat the cycle of physical distraction in our reality. Whereas alternatively, if there's a greater proportion of light in our mass consciousness, that we will elevate to a higher level of consciousness. But it's not saying that 50% of the population of the Earth needs to be in light in order to create the balance. That would be overwhelming and impossible. What is said here is that for 1 person of light, it negates the negativity of 400,000 people. Now, I don't know where they got that figure from. However, I love that part. I absolutely love that part, because I've noticed in life it's so easy to get into a point where we think, oh God, am I making any difference whatsoever? Does it make any difference if I'm trying to be a good person, if I'm trying to be in alignment with my truth? Most of the time, I know that it matters, but sometimes there are moments, and I suspect some people listening to this may have moments where we think, God, it's just me, I'm just a speck, how does that make any difference? But if you consider that any person who awakes, who raises their level of consciousness, may be negating unconsciousness of 400,000 people in that moment, that's a little bit more encouraging. So globally, we only need thousands, not billions, to do that. So what my spiritual teacher has started doing, and she's invited me and our spiritual community, and I'm now inviting you, is to spread the light around, and in your daily life with the people around you, consciously practice kindness. So I can imagine people rolling their eyes and going, well, yeah, obviously we do that. And I'm just saying, yes, of course you do that. We all do that. Over this next couple of months, kind of ramp it up a little bit is the suggestion in the invitation. Because if we're all doing that, that makes a difference. Also, we are all invited to do a special project, a mission, if you like. And I would personally be honored if you would join me in this. And I would also be honored if you would let me know you're joining me in this, if it resonates. So gather medallions that to you represent the light of the universe. And that's These ones I've got are the tree of life. And then these ones are like seeds, little flowers of life, seeds of life, flowers of life, tree of life. So if you like those ones, get those. You can get them for almost nothing on Amazon and everywhere else. Or whatever actually represents that to you. They must be metal. They can be any size. And small ones produce the same amount of light as the big ones. And you are asked to place them in the earth wherever you feel they need to go, with the intention of these are seeds of light that will be activated at the equinox in March 2025. Such an exciting idea. I love it. There will be no need to do anything else. As we get to that moment, all these seeds all over the world will be activated, creating a grid of light around the earth, helping to create the balance. I've already planted seeds and look forward to planting many more, as are others. They're already in Australia, France, Alaska, Canada, UK, and soon to be New Guinea, and possibly wherever you are. Last time I looked, there were people in 93 countries watching and listening to Truth and Transcendence. So let's add, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 already listed there. So let's add another 87 to that and just expand this, creating a garden of light that spans the globe. The medallions are easy to get. They do not need to be expensive. And in fact, that would be a waste. Use a knife. I've got a little tiny knife I got from Amazon, which is very sweet. But again, you can get those for very little money. And actually, they're really good to have. Where was I? Yes. Just plant the seed, make a cut in the ground. You picked a location that feels right to you, and you just slide the little seed in. And again, you use the intention which says, these are seeds of light that will be activated at the equinox in March 2025. It's an easy thing to do if it resonates with you, and if you'd like to join in and pass this task on, I would be honoured and grateful. Let's see if we can make this a global mission that everyone can take part in, and make sure you have fun while you're doing it. So you can, and of course, bury the seed so it stays in place, hidden until the equinox. We want to see thousands of seeds of light all across the globe. And just repeat, repeat, repeat. And just imagine at the equinox in March, the seeds of light will germinate, an explosion of light all around the world, wherever they are planted. Your work and this moment will combine to brighten the world and help raise consciousness at this most important time. The energy you infuse into this activity will be a vital contribution to what happens next in terms of our future, and the universe thanks you in advance. So, noticing how that message resonated with you, noticing however it resonated with you, honor that. I honor that. Whether you are now on Amazon right now acquiring little medallions, whether you are left cold and thinking this is ridiculous, however you resonate with these sorts of messages, I believe we all know the power of intention and the power of love. This is one strategy for amplifying love and light through our individual intentions. I invite you to tune into yourself and see if you find a way to do this in your own way or in this way. And as Katrina said, practice kindness, spread the light around, especially in this next 2 months. A good thing to do anyway, right? So that's all for Truth and Transcendence today. You can find our other episodes on truthandtranscendence.com. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. It makes such a difference. A 5-star rating, and share with your friends, and comment on what we were discussing today. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It really helps if you give a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, a review, and share with your friends. If you're looking for transformational coaching or an intensive transformational weekend workshop experience, I can help with that. You can actually help the show by making a donation. Until next time, take care.